We're not salty.
EG can only go forward. Knock, FBI. It's Danny.
You can run, you can hide, but Danny is coming for you. EG marching down mid. They're going to take game number 1.
Every turret was for him. Every kill, everyone was just like walking away with their hands up and like, Daddy, Sir Daddy, please take this gold. Because not only, they just have so much confidence that he will carry the game, and he is playing like he will carry the game. He is playing closer to the edge than I've ever seen him do as well.
Danny's ready for the flash. Follow. He goes up in the air. The ward is in the brush. Does he have the dose? 2-4. We created a monster in the lower bracket. The evil geniuses are absolutely tearing through the entire LCS. FBI going in, trying to flash forward. Danny wants to turn around. 100 Thieves, however, just get stomped. 100 Thieves are getting ran into the ground. And EG with a perfect ace.
They got it, guys. We've got to finish with it. Danny almost gets another penta, and EG will begin their new reign.
It is the fastest finals ever. And it never felt this good to be bad. Evil geniuses are your new LCS champions.
They say I'll never leave a legacy, but one day.
Welcome back to the LCS in the State Farm Analyst Desk. Ahead of us lies a Spring Finals rematch, and of course, the last time both of these teams went up against each other, both the crowd and the series seemed to go very much in EG's favor. I know it was just a short time ago, but what a wonderful trip down memory lane that little bit was.
It's amazing just being able to relive it, because your culmination of your work throughout your career amounts to this, especially in front of the crowds. It's been so long since we were able to have that. The new players on Evil Geniuses going up against, you know, a team that was aiming for a back-to-back in 100 Thieves, and we get to see them play again.
It's just crazy. You heard the call talk about it, but how much that audience turned
Yeah.
over the weekend into an EG home field crowd just off the back of that pentakill, basically, that Danny got, as well as like the NA homegrown talent angle. It was the team that I don't think had a ton of online support, it felt like, throughout playoffs.
Yeah.
But then when you were there, anything they did, they got the loudest cheers.
Yeah, they showed our predictions yesterday about how all of us on the desk, except for Jat flopping at the end, predicted 100 Thieves. The entire crowd booed us every single time. Also, shout out to the man on your screen right there, Impact. He, for me, was actually the star of that series. I think he did so much. He had inspired you so much to facilitate the young carries on EG. And it was just a really unexpected win for them.
Yeah, a reminder of me for that one was like the Aatrox plays towards the bot side of the map.
Yep.
Alongside Inspired. I loved how the joke about that series, and also just overall Evil Genius's playstyle, was just spoon-feeding kills to
Yup.
Danny.
Yeah.
So especially after this international event at MSI, it was about those two players on the top side of the map, and Inspired and Impact, that were just the standout stars. Players in front of you in jojopyun, who's just been learning so much along their way, and is just a great playmaker for this team. So I want to see more of that. Inspired and jojopyun making plays across the map, because they have a lot of options.
Yeah, I mean, every single player on the team, right, in that finals or throughout the playoff run seemed to find an extra gear. But that's also something that I do kind of want to re-hit on, is that EG regular season versus EG playoff performance in spring were starkly different teams. I know Azeal has talked about it plenty. You know, a middling team, 9-9 in the regular season, right? Barely scraping through, but to then find that performance. I'm gonna look for them to put up a little bit better of a regular season here in summer, to show us that growth moving into playoffs again.
I want that too, but I'm also not going to condemn them otherwise. They have a lot of veterans on this team, and you know, sometimes veterans in long seasons, they will experiment more in the regular season. They'll paced themselves, and I think there's a world where, you know, Impact was synonymous with pacing. He was the top guy at the end of, you know, summer.
Yep.
And so I'm not surprised that EG was a team that peaked in playoffs. I think their coaching staff is also very aware of the peaks and valleys that you'll go through over a long season. So I think there's a lot of reasons not to hand wave a 9-9 record completely, but it's not too surprising in hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, I think even yesterday, they didn't look like super dominant against C9, right? Like it was a little bit of a shaky win, and we even talked to one of their performance doctors for the team yesterday, and she was like, you know what, like we are taking this as a long-term building thing, and coming off of the grueling schedule that involves MSI, I think, like Mark, I have tempered my expectations in terms of like, oh, they're not just going to go raise through the split.
And there's that revenge angle from 100 Thieves.
Yes.
Let's go.
But because they're the team that was at the top of the LCS, was that huge winning streak at the end of the regular season. And then it was on these players in front of you. Right now it's closer, but eventually it will be like Ssumday, the top set of the map, that was carrying this team for so long. And being able to see FBI and Huhi like really step it up during the playoffs, and then not being able to get that extra star, not being able to win that second championship. They're going to remember that. And this player in particular in front of you, Abbedagge, who has been a highlight in terms of consistency, like not being able to have that during the last split, that will be on the front of his mind. 100 Thieves are going to be extra hungry specifically for this matchup to be able to prove to themselves that they can take down evil geniuses.
Yeah, and I thought they did a really good job just yesterday of playing around his Ahri, right, and making picks. When they ended up taking over the game from TSM, it was definitely because they understood how to execute their composition a lot more. And the other surprising thing that we kept bringing up is that, you know, it was closer, it was Ssumday. This was going to be a bot lane focused team, we thought, and the way that they found their stability was actually through topside, which is really interesting to me now going into the summer.
All right, now this is a game where I definitely want all three of you on record.
Finals rematch prediction?
Exactly. I got to make sure I get this prediction. I got to make sure everybody at home knows where y'all stand. So, Emily, I'm going to start with you just because I believe the graphic starts with you. Where are you going?
Oh, I thought you were going to do me last.
I do want to do. I don't know if they can fill it in. Can you fill it in the opposite? Mark, go first. Let's find out what happens.
So I didn't learn my lesson. I'm going Hundro Thundo again.
Okay, well, he's going 100 Thieves. Raz, you go. And then
I did not
Emily
learn
goes,
my
go fill out
lesson
the graphic.
whatsoever. I'm doubling down 100.
Also on 100. Okay, so 2 votes.
I'll give
for
my
the
reasoning after. I don't know if you have special for
Now
Emily.
I drop it off to Emily.
This was so close for me that I actually told Dash going in, I was like, if everyone else goes 100 Thieves, I'll flop to
There it
EG.
is.
So there we go.
Boom, and production's got it unlocked.
That's why I wanted to go last.
EG prediction for Emily. One of these days, we're going to get that reverse functionality. I promise, I promise. All right, from here, we're back out to the cast.
Just to make it interesting, you know?
Underway, finals rematch. Let's go.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to the Kai'Sa desk. That is Azeal. I am Phreak. We are known as the Doug Duo. Would you like to salute this time?
Nope.
Nope. Understandable. Yeah, this is going to be a very fun, very, very fun game. I saw the cast assignments earlier this week. I'm like, I get to do the rematch of the finals. Hell yeah, I'm excited. Evil Geniuses, 100 Thieves. EG, a team that had not won a game off the top teams throughout the entire regular season.
Yep.
Got kicked down lower bracket, and then whoop, bunch of 3-0s to make the way back here.
9-9 in the regular season, 1 game off missing playoff, 0-6 against the top 3 teams. That was the pedigree for EG going into the playoffs. But they found another gear. They found a style that really worked for them, and everything clicked. And EG just smashed in the lower bracket. They looked incredible. And now it's, can they really bring that level into the summer split? Can they bring that level of dominance in the summer split here against 100 Thieves? 100 Thieves obviously won their game yesterday. So did EG in pretty different ways, I would say. You know, Abbedagge, they talked a little bit about on the analyst desk how he was finding some really good picks in the later stages of the game. But also, we would be remiss to not mention the fact that he was actually way down early against Maple. Like, he was down a good 75 ADCS against Maple. He was, you know, getting focused pretty hard, dying a lot. He was struggling, but he did find the ability to really change that game, found multiple big picks on a tactical. And 100 Thieves was able to really turn things around. So we'll have to see how he matches up here against jojopyun. And also what kind of a style we're going to see out of EG. Because EG went late. They went scaling. They went tank top. They went control mage mid, you know, bringing in the core key, playing, you know, Ezreal bot. They went for this poke style composition where it was like all about, you know, playing around objectives. Whereas 100 Thieves was much more mid-game focused. You know, they went Gnar, Wukong. They had Ahri as well as the Lucian Nami bot lane. that was very effective for them. So interested to see what kind of a draft difference we may find. But again, 4 marksman bans. Seems like that is going to be the go-to here. Karma is banned out, but Ezreal going to be first picked here anyway.
Yeah, want to play for it there. Kai'Sa locked in right away, and alongside Wukong. Wukong can set you up so Kai'Sa can follow. I'm expecting a more aggressive look here out of FBI to jump in most of the time here with Closer. That man, very aggressive himself, Closer, and on the Wukong should look quite good.
Yeah, absolutely. Easy application of that plasma there. You know, you jump in, you knock him up. FBI can fly in to follow that up. Again, we didn't really see that from Neo. He was playing very passively. I believed in a lot of those 5v5s until it was kind of too little too late. But 100 Thieves has always been really good at playing aggressively towards that bottom side. That is the Braum answer here from Vulcan. So a strong defensive answer. If you go exhaust Braum, Kai'Sa and Wukong both are going to have a lot of trouble kind of diving past you and into you. It becomes really, really tricky to actually get onto and kill off that Ezreal unless you can kind of 100-0 him. The Braum is really going to be disruptive there.
Here's a fun stat, by the way, for FBI.
How fun?
I think it's very fun.
Okay.
I'm a FBI fan. I'm just going to keep listing one player per game I'm a big fan of. So he did not play Kai'Sa at all this year. This is going to be his first Kai'Sa game of the year. However, it is his 3rd most played champion all time, most played champion. His highest win rate champion with more than literally 1 game played of all time by a lot. 79% win rate on Kai'Sa. He has been really good as a champion when it's been kind of in the meta, when he's been willing to play it. And so I'm excited to see him dive in and you know, kick a lot of heads off.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Kai'Sa was that kind of every game champion, FBI playing a ton of that. You know, has been very, very strong throughout a lot of different metas. Kai'Sa, you know, kind of coming back in a little bit. He seems here today. At least, you know, it's kind of like below the top tier very clearly because we're getting like 4 or 5 marksman bans every single game.
Jerry, Lucian, Kalista are, and Lucian or Senna combos, right, are the top 4. Okay, sure. Here we are.
Yep, exactly. But back-to-back days, we are going to get the Ahri here from Abbedagge. So not going towards, you know, Azir, Corki, you know, any of that sort of stuff. As you said, hasn't been played as much. Azir the most picked though out of the big 4. So clearly has been some scaling. Banning away some of the answers will be interesting to see if they're going to have multiple bans towards Jojo. Lysandra really kind of came to priority in MSI. You know, Xiaohu was so good on that pick, and we saw a lot of people actually kind of picking that up as an answer into the Ahri. The lockdown in that matchup, very, very strong. Traditionally had been an answer into LeBlanc, but people kind of recognizing, hey, this is actually a pretty strong answer to multiple picks. So will be the Azir ban as well. Corki, Victor, both available. We saw Corki yesterday. It was a Corki Ezreal combo that they did go for. So there is the possibility to run that back. But so far, I like the champions around it less for that because they don't really have any engage. They don't have the setup as much in that same way. Of course, you could look towards something like a blind Ornn for impact. Ssumday, you know, is someone who's going to be pretty comfortable. And with Kayle, I actually think it's Ornn for sure now, unless Ssumday is willing to pick it on 4, but there would not really be any reason for him to do so unless he thinks the denial is super important. Because then impact could go something like Mord, but maybe their comp kind of sucks without any engage. So not expecting it. I'm expecting them to lock support. I'm expecting Ornn from impact. And then we'll have to see, you know, what the answer is going to be there from Ssumday.
Yeah, because when Cloud9 was in this draft position, their bans were Fiora, Gwen. They got rid of the skirmisher options, the fighter options that would do well into Ornn, and then split push and be unanswerable. This time, yeah, it's Kayle. It's the LCS option, the one that was eventually used and actually won against Cloud9 when they're in the situation. So
Kayle also played into GP, so that would make some sense.
Kayle's good in GP, yeah.
But I am concerned about like how do you start fights, right? You know, I am never a fan of compositions that have no engage. So I do still think we're getting Ornn. We'll have to find out for sure. Zoe, a great poke pairing, you know, with that Ezreal, you know, similar to what they did from yesterday with that Corki, but is instead going to be a more aggressive option. So EG changing things back up a little bit. This feels much more like an MSI draft. You know, going back towards some of those picks that were very popular. LeBlanc, I think it's jojopyun's probably his best champion. You know, he's been very, very strong on it. He is known for his aggressive laning. He is known at actually, you know, being very successful, you know, in a lot of these 2v2s and 3v3s early on. It was something that was getting banned against him at MSI a ton, and that a lot of players have been talking to me about, like, that being one of the picks that they were kind of scared from him. It is, in fact, Gwen top, so they are going to go no engage. It does make it, I think, kind of like pretty reliant on winning early. Because if you're not ahead early, it's just so hard to actually enter at these objectives. If you are ahead, then, you know, face checking into the Ezreal and LeBlanc, that becomes very difficult. You have great scaling in the side lane with the Gwen.
Ooh, we saw this one earlier. I remember, I think it was Ssumday versus Summit and he did, I think, really well. Maybe it was Impact in the Summit. Did really well in the Akali Gwen matchup. Eventually, too many ganks turned it back around, but was actually winning that one early. We are going for the Gnar, though, a much safer option up there. Another solid team fighter, right? Press R, hit 4 people, gonna look pretty good over there. Obviously, plenty of ways now to start a fight. Gnar's not bad. Nautilus is great. Wukong's pretty good at it. And certainly Kai'Sa and Ahri are gonna follow up. So definitely an aggressive comp, but a well-rounded team fight look as well. 100 Thieves have, I think, a pretty solid looking composition. As you mentioned, EG, very little actual engage. Hope they can win their lanes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, hope they're going to win their lanes, be first to the objectives. The other option is always just try to absorb that engage. I'm not sure if we're having trade bugs again or if they're just really slow to do the trading. It doesn't seem like EG is actually trading, so I think we're going to have to, unfortunately, restart this again. Yeah, now some trades are coming through. Not really sure what's going on. No, sure. They're going to drop out. So yeah, trade bugs again, I'm assuming.
That's too bad.
As EG weren't able to actually swap all the champions around in time there. But we will be able to get back into this pretty quickly. Of course, the picks and bans will stand. We'll be able to zoom through that, hopefully. I don't know if anyone can hear that or if that's just like blasting people's ears in the earphone by you clapping into your mic.
I was following the audience, okay? I am a sheep. Bah, what you do, I will follow within reason.
Within reason.
I'm glad we got some sheep cheers, by the way. Like,
if they'll cheer for awards, they'll cheer for you being a sheep.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Speaking of cheering for awards, we can. I've actually been told to not encourage that behavior because I've done that many times. I've been told with no certain terms, please don't encourage word cheering. So I'm not encouraging.
By saying that, you've just done exactly what you were told not to do.
No, do not cheer for awards this game. Yeah, do not cheer for my puns.
Well, no one was going to do that. That's a certainty.
Hey, we're trying reverse psychology skills there, okay?
One day, that does not that effective.
One day we'll get some of that. Oh well, yeah. So unfortunate trade bug. That is too bad. Yeah, I kind of want to like drill onto the like no engage comp thing because I really hate it.
Me too.
I really hate comps with really bad engage. Like if Braum is your best engage, I think your draft actually just sucks. Basically
these comps are popular,
which is weird.
I mean, people's read is clearly. I mean, you can continue your point, but
yeah, sure. So basically, the idea is right. Like you don't know how a game's gonna play out when you start. So like you have to have the highest chance of winning when draft ends. Then your coach walks off the stage. You got to play a game of League of Legends out. We aren't robots. Mechanics aren't perfect. There are vision pockets where you don't see things. Like there just are situations where like landing an Nautilus hook is gonna win you a game, or a Leona ult or whatever. And EG Huhi. Yeah, but having those options is a really good way to win games. Yep. Like 10% of your games are won by a Nautilus hook from Fog or some engaged tool from Fog, right? Like that's just like a pretty inarguable number. And you're like, nope, you don't have that option. One's gonna ghost at you is not the same thing. And I just think that it hampers your ability to win the array of games that could happen once you get onto the Rift. And I think that is a missed opportunity to never have that possibility.
To me, the most kind of like concise way to say it is it just limits your win conditions. And that's always what I have felt. Is that these comps with no engage can be actually very effective from ahead, right? If you win your lanes, if you're ahead in the jungle, great. You're the first to every objective. They have to face check into you.
Yeah.
Turns out you don't need to engage.
Yeah.
But if you fall behind, guess how you normally come back into games? Picks, right? And if you're behind in the game and your opponents are the ones dictating when you always fight, you don't win a lot of those games. And that's kind of my major complaint, my major criticism of it, is that really does limit your win conditions. It puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the players to actually get ahead early. If anything goes bad, sometimes it can just feel like the game is already over. So I tend to really be a fan of teams that do have the ability to find picks, that do have the ability to really get that engaged. And yeah, LeBlanc can hide in a bush and try to like 100-0 someone, but it's very difficult to do that from behind, and it's very difficult to actually establish vision and to take over control of certain areas of the map if you are behind and you don't have any engage.
Yeah, I think a good example of this to bring up two things, right, is remember MSI where Jankos was on Wukong, killed 3 camps red side, just ganked mid, and was like, surprise! You're Wukong level 2, bud. Enjoy not having a laning phase. Oops. Guess we're not winning the lane anymore. Yeah, because Jankos ganked you, like junglers do from Fog of War. But I've seen so many games this split. I remember some LPL games, some LCK games where it's like, they could be setting up around Baron, and a Braum walks towards the Pixel Brush and is like, Lissandra ulted. Or takes a Nautilus hook, and it's like, your support instantly died. And was CC'd and for the dead. It's like, unless you have Wukong, you're not doing that, right? And that's going to be telegraphed. So those plays do definitely matter. The draft, I believe, is down to 0 seconds and done once again with the champs in the right spot. So we are getting ready to go for game 3 of the day. 100 Thieves were the winners bracket finalists. all the way up at top of the bracket, and EG 3-0'd them as they made their lower bracket run. 100 Thieves had looked pretty damn good during the regular season. Question is, does EG work well in a almost no engaged composition? 100 Thieves, I think, looking very well rounded, are personally my favorite for winning the regular season this split.
The real question is, did the client boom again? Because it's been stuck on 0 for a long time, and so now I'm getting nervous.
No, I think those timers are weird for whatever reason. I saw the 0 second for a long time as well as I looked over, but looks like we are loading into the game. I'm seeing it here. 5 things to go. Let us get ourselves onto the Rift. EG versus 100 Thieves. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift here in week 1 of the Summer Split of the LCS. Evil Geniuses and 100 Thieves doing battle. Both teams at 1-0. And Impact, playing his most played champ of the year, still on the Gwen, has been a much bigger carry force. He has so often been the weak side player. He's on tank duty. You can just, he's going to be gangplank, no one's going to help. But the man has actually been doing a lot of the damage, and he's doing well with it.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And to give him credit, I mean, I just think internationally, he has always shown up. Like, he has been one of those guys that has been so consistent to perform when it really matters, whether it's in playoffs, whether it is international. You really can depend on him to rise to the occasion. And a lot of that has been on some of these carry performances. He really did like the Gwen a lot at MSI. Is playing the Ghost Gwen, so we'll see how he's going to be able to perform here against Ssumday. As a nice little check on the brush, will find Huhi, and they did invade on top side to drop a ward there on Raptors. So Closer was able to spot it, but it will very likely reveal that he started top side if the fact that Ssumday is leashing does not.
Giving themselves the red buff start here. We'll see if he's able to path around that trinket ward at some point, but so far shouldn't be. I believe a guarantee they know he's starting top side. Although now that Gnar's not in the lane, it's like, okay, you probably leashed.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think the leash does give it away somewhat, but the fact is you're almost never going to skip Raptors there. I would expect if he wants to skip Raptors to dodge it, he could. Yeah. But now you're going to see that, almost always you are going to go Raptors there. So as soon as you do that, it is revealed. And it can be kind of understood that he was starting topside anyway, so not that much information given over. Nice little trading there, back and forth from Jojo and Abbedagge. Jojo getting the early level 2.
You auto electrocute, looked pretty good. Yeah, big chunks there. I mean, getting level 2 first as well, already scrapping pretty nicely. And the thing is, that was a Q start LeBlanc. Like, he had no AoE and still got the wave before Abbedagge did.
Yeah, he did. And Abbedagge, I think, wasn't able to even proc his electrocute on that earlier trade. I think that's why Jojo was able to create a pretty big HP advantage. Then gets level 2, procking the electrocute again. Getting
you're kidding! Yeah, jojopyun! He needs a level, he needs a CS, he levels up the minion! Thank you, tower!
Oh, Jojo could have killed him with an auto. He actually hesitated there. He went in, thought he was dead. I think it was a biscuit that got popped, and then he leveled up. And as he popped the biscuit, Jojo goes, oh crap, he's not dead, is he? So he tried to step back in, but realized he hadn't reset the tower aggro. Now gonna
that's a charm. That's tower aggro. This boy is dead. Abbedagge steps up when needed.
Oh, Jojo is gonna be kicking himself for that one. He had the first blood. He had Abbedagge dead to rights. But miscalculates here. Let's watch it one more time. I'm almost certain it was like a biscuit pop or something that made him miscalculate. Because Jojo goes in, he gets the Q, he flashes in W. I think it was a biscuit right there because his HP jumped back up. Yeah. Then he gets level 2. And Jojo tried to step back out of the tower range, but was a little bit too close. Then going forward here, this is very risky. He does hit 3 first, W's forward, but then the charm connects as he autos. And just going straight at him, you can expect Abbedagge is going to hit that charm. He would have had to be behind the cannon there. But, Jojo going for that really aggressive play would have been a massive deal because that was a huge wave at Abbedagge's turret. If he had actually pulled that off and got the solo kill, would have been a tremendous advantage. But now, giving that over means Abbedagge is way ahead. He's playing TP. You gave him the first blood. You're down summoners. That's going to be a great position for Abbedagge.
Yeah, turns out only TSM are allowed to camp the mid lane and get kills in Abbedagge. Sorry, EG. You don't have it's not the initials, you just can't.
This was a 1v1. There wasn't even a jungler.
Yeah, but that's the standard TSM, right? You need 4v1 mid lane. That's how it works.
Okay.
Inspire, gonna get rid of control ward. Good. No. The clapping is enough. The clapping is enough. Okay, Anchor's gonna land, but on the Braum, they're gonna be fine here. The trade back looks pretty good. Sidesteps the Mystic Shot, would have been another couple 200 damage. We look at the next camp. Spawn, Inspired, no, it's Closer getting the smite, well done. That is most of the XP, though not most of the gold.
Yeah, that Q missing on bot side actually a pretty big deal in that trade because you proc both the Braum passive and then get the Mystic Shot damage. And maybe you can even get another auto in on the back end of it. So lucky for Huhi that he was able to avoid that. Jojo still trying to push advantage. You know, he is double the farm right now. Yes, there is some for Abbedagge to pick up, but it is back-to-back days. Abbedagge has really been struggling to keep up in farm against his opponents. He was very far down in Maple. This has been straight up 1v1. And he's the one with first blood and TP, but really getting bullied still in this matchup. And we'll see if he can start to kind of turn that around.
Impressively done so far. And you can see as the top lane resets, an 11 CS lead to Impact. Yes, Ssumday Leash probably allowed Impact to kind of set the wave how he wanted at the early lane, but I mean, a more than wave and a half lead off of the first like 8, like that's just, it's just, skill diff right there. So well done to Impact there. Take some damage. We'll get the, no, not gonna get the last part of it there. Good W. The block would have been hyper. A lot of damage out of that one.
Ooh, 3 mid coming now for 400 Thieves. They see Abbedagge struggling a little bit here. They're trying to get there, trying to get the setup to actually be able to find some sort of a play. Nice little sidestep from jojopyun. Closer was spotted clearing down towards that bottom side, and now you got to be a little bit careful here. Inspired is in a good position, will spot Closer, and will it be the very early dragon start here? That's what they've got to be wondering. So now they're actually wrapping around to look for a bait here. They're going to look for a death trap in this brush, almost assuredly.
Oh, they're brushed though. They're going to get the mid laner. Ulti's available, but we got a lot of damage coming across. Right back off, and it's going to be Closer. Flash into safety. Just barely stays alive, but Danny is here, and Danny picks up where he left off, killing Closer again.
I was actually really smart. I like that entire play around Vision 400 Thieves. Very intelligent, but EG just brought everyone up, and Braum really swung things. Yes, they got the hook on a Jojo, but as Braum flies in, Guardian is up, the door is up, Exhaust comes down. Vulcan making all the difference in that one, as surely Impact will have to go back to base here. Very, very low, doesn't have the TP, so not a big deal. But Danny makes a rotation, gets the kill. Really nicely done by EG. Kind of anticipating the plays from 100 Thieves, but it would be interesting to watch that one back because I just thought it was really smart. They clear out the ward, they walk around as though they're in the dragon, and then actually pull back off the dragon to say, okay, EG, you think we're on the dragon, now we set up the actual brush camp to try to look for a kill. So I thought that was really cool stuff to see, even though it did not quite work out for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it's cool because you call it too, like, I expect the brush camp, but it's not that one. Oh, it's the other one. Like,
yeah. Get this with a W. This is cool too. Support leashing the scuttle, I think, there for Kai'Sa.
Oh, close. If he had just like preemptively EQ'd, would have gotten the stop, but
that's actually a really big deal because if he stops that there, then somebody's kind of locked in the lane with no item and probably has to take a pretty bad base. Would have lost some farm off that. So nicely done by Ssumday to be able to get out. Of course, the early tier 2 boots for Impact. Melee versus range, you almost always are going to really index towards move speed. He has the Ghost, he has the Tabby, so he will have that move speed advantage now. And as a result, somebody's going to have to pay some respect to the fact that if he is overextended in lane, he could potentially get run down.
And similarly, Trinity Force for Ssumday gives him move speed there as well. Of course, using the aggressive option. Doesn't want to, like, rush Swifties. That wouldn't make much sense. Or even Steel Caps himself. So goes for a bit of a combo of damage and move speed as a bit of poke comes out of Danny. Cool, great. Doing Conqueror version, by the way. It's a really good way to stack a bunch of AD. Pretty solid damage in a long-form team fight. 600 gold lead to Evil Geniuses, even with giving up first blood. That felt pretty solid. Better laning for sure. As we look now at the Herald being attempted. Bit of poke back and forth. Huhi on the way, Closer on the way, and Inspired. Yeah, he wants to stay, but there's too many people. So can I hold it out here? Can I? No, probably not. Hits it once more. Out it goes.
But now, with Mega actually popped and impacting the push, they're just going to start it again. Because without Mega Gnar and with Impact having that brush, this should be theirs. Neither of the bot laners are moving up. Danny can assist a little bit with an ult if they actually start. So just smart play from EG. They had the read. They get the push through top. That's going to give them access to the Herald. So now 100 Thieves have to cross map again and try to look for a dragon as a response, very likely. Or maybe go for an invade on the red buff. Try to see if they can set anything for that up. Will EG try to take control over their own jungle? Danny playing very respectfully here, knowing that he could be getting wrapped around on. So he's sitting back in that area on the map because this is that little spot where they would wrap around on. He had a ward here in this brush, so he was just kind of covering this sort of section there on the map, and that's why he's not actually farming out that wave. So smart stuff from him there. 100 Thieves looking for a play.
Yeah, they're gonna try Abbedagge right in the front. Gets knocked up though, flashes, but they're gonna shut him down all the same. jojopyun gets one. Looking for a bit more in there. Kai'Sa is hitting. Inspired barely lives, but he's burning, and he's gonna fall. Closer trades one back.
1 for 1, but again, 100 Thieves had the extra member there, so it is positive, you have to say, for EG. Danny gonna be pushing out bot. We'll see if 100 Thieves can get anything done elsewhere. But EG, you know, giving as good as they're getting. Vulcan has been such a difference maker, it feels like, in these fights. The Braum has been really, really effective. You know, landing the ult on Abbedagge, the exhaust again. Guardian and Wall is so big in this, and he tagged him with the ulti himself. The Braum passive can follow that up, so has been really nicely played by Vulcan thus far.
Yeah, really, really good. We got the CC, got that pick, so that's pretty cool. Still pretty close in gold right now. Still yet to see our first dragon, but with the Herald in inventory, you have to imagine that's going to be plenty of money coming in at some point. Plate check, 0 taken for either team. So probably just going to be that 300 gold Rift Herald. Not the highest value yet. Maybe it gets paid off later if you can find the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, this game has been so heavily based around mid lane, right? You know, the early pressure from Jojo, and then everyone has been kind of just piling into these fights here. Nice tag initially there from Vulcan, then backing up with the door as he dashes in, tags him, knocking him out of the last charge there of his ulti, and he already had the passive on top. So Inspired piles in, the autos there landed as well from Jojo to proc that passive. They do get the kill. FBI on the rotation is able to join with the Kai'Sa ult, which was really nicely done to trade one back, but still, when you have an extra man there and you go even, you are losing somewhere else, and EG was pushing in the bot side. Now they're able to actually take this dragon away. So taking both those early objectives.
And he thinks it's time for the play. Of course, nowhere near Gnar. Ghost is on. Ult's trying to land as many as he can. Has the big snip available. Big slow as well. Repositions. One more auto should kill, but it's not going to be enough. His E wasn't ready until just now. And that was never going to be anything but under the turret when it happened. So Ssumday lives. He's Gnar soon. And he knows Impact does not have the burst anymore.
But now Jojo moving up. You can see he's actually rotating up. Abbedagge is on the follow here, but he can actually turn around and try to brush camp. So this does get a little bit dangerous. Jojo realizing that they're not actually going to be able to pull off any sort of dive, Ssumday meg it out. So I really like the option to try to threaten the fact that you're still moving for the play, draw Abbedagge up. In this case, it does not amount to much. But again, intelligent plays around vision from both teams. I really do like how thoughtful they are being. They're thinking one step ahead. Okay, I'm going to move top, so you're going to follow. I can't actually pull off the dive, so I'll brush camp and look to create pressure.
And ultimately, no, it doesn't fall for the play. Abbedagge stays alive. He trade back and forth, sidesteps the chain as he puts damage towards Jojo, takes the better half of it. I believe electrocute not triggered by the LeBlanc. Land everything he needed. Q auto not enough in that case. Huhi there to say hello to mid lane, knocks down the minions again, and get rid of vision once more. As that set of wards right there, the control ward on the brush and that green ward over there, pretty much guarantees that you will see if LeBlanc goes bottom side.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves has been moving towards mid lane a lot to try to help Abbedagge reset these waves. You know, has been pressured pretty heavily in this 1v1. It feels like, despite actually, you know, getting the first blood himself, you know, have made some good rotations to really kind of get him out of some tough situations. But the game thus far, very, very even. The FTX gold advantage is basically nothing. It is, you know, 100 gold in the favor of EG. They do, of course, have that first dragon under their belt, but things looking really, really even.
Yeah, and Danny go for the same build he went for in the previous game as well. We have seen, I would say, largely Trinity Force Ezreal. I think it's generically his best build, and if you're trying to force one build every game, it's Triforce. But it's once again Essence Reaver, Manamune. He did Cyrilda's Prowler's Claw.
Yeah.
And it basically meant it was the highest spell damage build he could go for.
Yeah.
Like Prowler's Claw's mythic passive is penalty lethality. Stacks with Cyrilda's, which by the way is the one armor pen item that didn't or magic pen item that didn't get nerfed in the patch. So like Cyrilda's builds actually got better in the Drill update. Stacks that with, again, the same Prowler's Claw, and just has a lot of damage. His Qs will hit really, really hard on that build. Late summon here on the Herald, and it will be plates number 2 and 3, knocked off the bottom lane.
Yep, Danny not able to get too much more from that, but giving him a little bit extra gold there. Vulcan standing away, so he doesn't actually have to share it with his marksman player. Trying to get Danny that additional gold. Something we saw them do so much throughout playoffs. Was very, very effective, just funneling gold into him, trying to get him ahead. A lot of action in this river, though, early on. Jojo moving down, Inspired in the area, so they're trying to compete for vision, trying to sweep this out, but not actually catching either of those wards. You know, their read was that the ward line was going to be in the river, but you see this line of wards right there, 400 Thieves, really kind of circumvented the sweepers. So some intelligent placements on that, and EG didn't have the correct information on where those wards would be placed.
Looking again at the red buff steal. 100 Thieves looking around, but EG safe enough down here. Kai'Sa calls, hey, no one's in my lane right now. I'm getting a free push. Ezreal probably moved. Indeed, he did. And Spire able to grab his red. Doesn't have full vision, so he smites it. Didn't know someone's around the wall or there's a ward somewhere, so plays it safely. You can see a defensive ward just go down for Vulcan as well. Definitely playing it with respect to what 100 Thieves might be doing. Still a very close game here. 400 gold difference plus a dragon. So it is very slightly EG favored. I just worry about what their mid game looks like because, again, it'll be hard for them to pick fights, and 100 Thieves much easier for them to do so.
Yeah, I think a lot is going to rely on, can they continue stacking these objectives, right? Can they grab this next dragon, have this focal point on the map where 100 Thieves is going to have to come to them, and then try to really take over vision in that area, force them to be face checking into you, try to create that sort of a difficult situation. So I'm getting more and more aggressive. The early laning phase did feel like it was going in Impact's favor, but Triforce now complete. When you do go for the tier 2 boots, you are going to be delayed on your mythic timing, and Ssumday is really making the most of this, has been very adept at actually harassing Impact under his tower. Yes, Impact almost had that 1v1 kill, wasn't quite able to get it, and it's him actually getting the tower damage down. It's about half that damage off the tower. They are looking to fight around this Herald, though, and Impact is TPing back in.
Yeah, but I get tagged for a second. Jojo goes in for the fight, gonna land the chain as well. Sidesteps the charm, looks really good. Gets out, gets the Everfrost gone. Now on the left-hand side, we have Huhi burning a stopwatch. Will he be burned? Ult's gonna be able to find him. One hit left. Inspired grabs him, and he will come back with a Nautilus kit. Is it gonna be enough now as Wukong knocks up the team? Finds some pretty good damage. Kai'Sa's in as well. Is it enough? Abbedagge, flash, follow. Inspired wants him, but he's not quite gonna burn. No, he does. I think that was the red buff knocking him down. Traded back one for the Gnar. Impact gonna heal right back on a Ssumday, though. Puts on the shield, looking for the snip, but he's not quite gonna find any more. Still, though, that team
the cross
fight.
map ulti.
+1 as ult will not tag. Aimed wide, but Ssumday doesn't have a good way out. And FBI sidesteps it. Wukong trades back onto the Gwen, holding for his W
he
cooldown.
baited him.
Oh, that was closer. That was sick.
Does he actually check back? Wait,
Sweeper season. Sweeper season. Sweeper season. I don't think he wanted to stop him.
no, that was the other person's sweeper. That was Closer's
Oh,
sweeper.
it was? I could've sworn- oh, yeah, you're right. He didn't hit
It's
it.
Closer's sweeper. That is actually too funny. Wow, that was good stuff. That is good stuff
That's
right
like
there.
Tigger's
He got
flash
it with the
from
S move.
MSI.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the classic. It's like the Shaco juke or the classic on this. jojopyun, though, making a big difference in this again. Catching Abbedagge on the rotation, pushing him out. Huhi does buy time here with the early stopwatch, but Inspired connecting, gets that kill, and the resets are always going to mean trouble in these fights. FBI joins, but it is quite light. And again, Vulcan is creating so much space for them in the team. Yes, the Braum does eventually go down, but the health is so much higher for EG as a result of that. And it's a very nice escape, really nice S-move juke here. What this is, if you don't realize, is that when you clone, your clone basically just like stops moving, right? So it looks like you clone over the wall. If you just walk to the wall and you press S, it appears that you've jumped over the wall, right? And in this situation, should he have known that? Did he know there wasn't a pink ward in the brush? Because that was actually, oh, never mind. There's another ward right there that would have been shutting that off. Because I was wondering, could he have actually known that that was the sweeper turning off, but he couldn't. So just really well played there by Closer. Hey, if it doesn't work, you die. But he would have died if he just played it out normally anyway, right? So really, really good stuff. So good close
Yeah,
Oscar.
that's good. Standing
good.
still.
Yeah.
Listen, that is a talent sometimes. Okay?
It is. He's playing a clone.
Yeah, that's good. Alrighty, well, Wave's going back down, 1,600 gold lead and the second dragon. It is EG who have found their ways, right, better and better in this game. Again, I've been really concerned about what the mid game would look like for them, but so far, smooth sailing, it looks pretty solid. They found those picks that they wanted, and that's impressive here, so they're going to keep this one going. 18 minutes now into the game. Second Herald, cleanly attacked. That will guarantee, almost certainly guarantee an actual turret kill.
Yeah, and they did grab another dragon as well. During all those replays, they grabbed their second dragon, so working their way potentially here towards Soul. It is an Ocean Soul, which is going to be very nice, especially when we were thinking about that Gwen versus Gnar matchup. Gnar really relies heavily on chipping you down. Looks like 100 Thieves are kind of debating, do they actually want to commit to this? Now that Abbedagge has arrived, we'll see if they go for it, but the eye exposed, no shot to do so, so EG do claim it. 100 Thieves move everyone down to try to look for a contest, but are not able to find it and won't even get mid pressure.
Yeah.
It is also Jojo pushing out top, so Abbedagge going to have to go up here towards top to try to answer that pressure. Bot looks like it's pushing very slightly, and both top laners are going to head down to answer, so all things considered, it is better there for EG.
Nice try. Leona would have landed that, you know? But Ultimately, all right, no engagement to be had. They got a little poke. Mid lane will almost die, and with the numbers advantage, 4-2, they can just stay. This is going to be turret falling, so enough siege. EG 4-0 on neutral objectives, and that's actually meant they've gotten both turrets now as well.
Yeah, I've got to give so much credit to them. I actually think that they've been very active with this comp. You know, I think a lot of it is because jojopyun has just been laning better than Abbedagge. You know, he's been creating pressure. I think that drew a lot of 100 Thieves members towards mid, and I think Vulcan in particular has been exceptional in these skirmishes. He's been such a difference maker, right place, right time, 100% KP in this game. You know, Braum is not really considered one of these super active champions. It is generally looked at as more passive, but he has been able to find a way to be such a difference maker in most of these skirmishes, and I think that has been the biggest difference for them thus far in this game, though it is still quite close. 2K in the favor of EG. They do have the 2 dragons in their favor, so definitely looking good. And Danny is going to be fully stacked on the tier before their next fight, very likely. Just needs about one more Q, I think, and then he will be ready to go. Has a tremendous amount of CDR, and with the extra call fields, you can expect it probably is the Ceruldas, so has so much CDR at this point in the game.
Yep, and then it'll be Prowler's Claw 4th, and in the previous game, it was the fighter version of QSS. Silvermere Dawn.
Yep.
Health and MR and...
that one's really stat efficient, if I do recall.
Yeah, it's actually really good. So is the Kenpug Chainsword. I know Flowers talked about Skarner players doing it. That's one I identified as well when the patch came out.
Yeah.
We should just see like generic...
The AD buffs on it.
It was like 10 haste, 100 health, and 10 AD. There's going to be a big knock. If that might be enough, will it kill jojopyun? Not just yet, but he's low, and it's going to be a 1-for-1. Viego gets one, Nautilus the other. Gold in a better spot here. Both mid laners die.
Nice charm, though, from Abbedagge to set that up. You know, being able to try to find that pick onto jojopyun. Abbedagge was great on the Ahri in the later stages of the game yesterday as well, finding so many of their key picks. But jojopyun able to get enough damage out that as the reinforcements came through, they're able to finish off the kill on the Ahri. Huhi, of course, will have to back off, and this will mean Impact grabs a tower here. So EG, again, you know, coming out with these incremental advantages, it feels like after a lot of these skirmishes, Ssumday will be able to trade back on the bot side, so we'll see if they can kind of even out that gold.
And that will be the turret falling. So 1 on the board, find the 100 Thieves. We are Nash's Tooth for Impact. You can go Cosmic, he has before. That would be the tankier option, while still giving good damage, but we can watch this again. But I guess the turret goes down. Everfrost kind of zone him away. As he takes the chain, really good prediction into the hook.
Yeah, just lands the charm, the hook there to follow up. But jojopyun with his dying breath getting so much damage out there. Proxy Electrocute has the ignite down, lands the full combo. Inspired does come through to try to clean up that kill. And Danny here getting the red leashed for himself. Closing in on those 3 items. Of course, FBI is on Kraken plus BD, so a lot of frontline damage here. Again, you know, favoring that same build that we saw last time. We'll see if he is going to be looking to try to dive in with the team or more just focusing on hitting those frontliners. Because it is interesting to see Kai'Sa really kind of rising and picked alongside a lot of this dive, but people, at least thus far in these 2 games, have not been super aggressive about trying to dive through.
Ooh, that's going to be the charm landing. Everything going to hear, and the chain going to give him away. jojopyun down to 100 HP. Closer finds the kill. Beautifully done by Abbedagge. We get the dive at FBI, and jojopyun dives into the dirt. Now we get ourselves the 3rd dragon of the game. 4v5, and EG stick around. Do they have remotely the poke required, though?
Gnar is almost dead.
Smite is a possibility. Going to be claimed by Closer. Team fight starts. Here we go. Closer going to knock out the back line. Down low is Vulcan. Closer dives in, and he will finish the job. 2nd kill in a row now. Looking for a bit more impact to jump the wall. One traded back by Danny. Stays alive. Goes in for the damage on a Huhi. 2 more autos will kill. He'll find it. Inspired. Able to wake right back up. And Ssumday gonna get him away. Danny jumps in. Be careful. Abbedagge needs one more spell to find a kill. Just barely gets out. 2 for 2 is the total kill count. EG actually won a team fight 4v5.
Man, yeah, that was really close. But again, Abbedagge finding another charm. It just feels like he's coming alive back-to-back days in these mid games. Really been good with the picks. Looking to try to steal away that blue if it was actually being taken. Of course, it was not. EG, you know, evening out the kills in that fight. Of course, they were down a member to start. Yeah. It's just the charm of the wall. Abbedagge, good positioning here. You can see the W started. So he actually was very quick on the reaction, it looked like, from jojopyun, but gets tagged out of it. It does take you out of the dash on that. No hesitation from FBI, straight in with the ulti to help to finish him off. And then again, starting this up, but I think it was a good contest because you look at Ssumday's health, the Mega Gnar's about to expire, Abbedagge has no more ulti charges, and the ulti from Vulcan there, again, very effective, putting up the passive stacks. Closer dives into the back line, but they're not really able to follow it up because there's no ulti on FBI. Ssumday's already out of the Mega Gnar form. So they kite back, they get these resets, Inspired very, very low. Another charm really making a difference, because if that charm doesn't connect, if he actually can clone that charm or something and go forward, maybe they can actually continue forward and win that fight very, very heavily. But a couple of key charms there from Abbedagge making the difference, you know, to really keep 100 Thieves from losing more.
And Impact did a really good job kind of zoning out the backline. The fact that the divers just got like 2v3'd, as everyone else was like, but there's a Gwen.
Yep.
And okay, Ssumday dodged away from a lot of it and take too much damage, but Impact kind of just solo, like, held back the entire back line. Really, really well done.
I mean, that's one of the big powerful things about that Gwen is you use that Shroud, you use the mist to really be able to kind of create this zone of safety for the rest of your team, right? You act as that pseudo front line when that mist is up. But I've got to say, Ssumday has been playing really well around the hops. You know, being able to kind of like backstep through Impact and then jump back over him, consistently pulling that off to create space. And in that fight, even juking out some of Impact's ultimates as a result of that. So Ssumday has been playing that very, very well, working towards what appears to be a force of nature next to try to deal with the double AP solo laners here. Ezreal, of course, going to have some magic damage. Braum got some magic damage. So I do think it's a pretty good buy, especially given that it is the Nashers, which kind of leads you to believe he's playing sides. But this is going to die fast. Gwen will shred this, absolutely. I do think they have an inkling that it's going on, but can they actually get here in time? jojopyun is going to be guarding the sides.
Ult for us, only a slow at this point, but closer is pushed out. It's going to be smiteable, will be claimed. Nicely done. Evil Geniuses have the support and mid push back everyone else, and they do so cleanly. Baron picked up FTX gold advantage, 3,400 to EG.
Yeah, that was great. Just really good timing on it. They knew Abbedagge was not in the area. He does TP in, but Closer just can't walk through the LeBlanc and the Braum. So yeah, the Braum ulti doesn't connect, but you have to walk over the slow field through a LeBlanc, which is just not going to happen. It does make it very, very difficult. You can see, though, the 100 Thieves feeling the efficiency of MR is very high this game. There's a Maw, there's a Banshee's Veil, there's going to be a Force of Nature. You know, they'll lock it in there as well. So a lot of resistances being built up, which does put more pressure on Inspired and Danny to really be bringing the damage in these fights. And Sorelda's is now done, so having that additional armor pen in that build is going to really kind of help to ramp things up.
Push forward again. Minute 14 to go till the, well, it would be EG's third dragon, but the fourth of the game.
Abbedagge looking.
Yeah, wants to play in that brush and has teammates nearby. Control wards give them a bit of safety, but now spotted on the way over. FBI knocks down one of the control wards. EG for now just playing for the waves. We still see 2 minutes left on this Baron buff.
This is kind of risky for Jojo, though. He's got no vision, and he's going down towards that bottom side. Like, look at the map. There's no wards. Vulcan is heading down, but he doesn't really know he's safe until just now, where Vulcan and Danny are looking to move and cover. So was patient enough, waited for them to get mid-prio. Then as they get mid-prio, EG moves from mid down towards bot, now moving up into the jungle here, pushing in multiple waves here with their solo laners, and they're going to try to bounce between, you know, that mid tier 2 and this bot tier 2, Inspired in position to go to either side wherever he is needed. If no one responds mid, they'll just chill bot. They'll take that mid lane tower with the Gwen very, very easily. Inspired can even go and answer that if they need to. And they see Ssumday top, so there's really not that much of a threat. 100 Thieves are going to have to answer mid, though. They're TPing deep. They're going to try to look for the flank here.
Pinch shift, double knockup. Here comes Wukong as well. Big damage into Danny. Going to flash over the wall. Stays safe for now. FBI cannot find his target anymore. Ssumday coming around. Looking for his first stun. Inspired jolting back to safety. FBI still stays alive. And it's forced to be Inspired zone. You stopwatch. Now we've got look at Abbedagge. 100 HP left onto him. They're going to find the flash forward. jojopyun gets that kill. 1 for 0. The stun lands on a Wukong. And 100 Thieves get absolutely nothing but a pair of coffins. 4-0. EG going to push in for more.
Let's see how much EG can get. I mean, they have that mid lane wave. Are they going to go for the end here? 30 seconds on a lot of these death timers. Do they just go for inhibs and reset? Or do they try to push for the end? 9 seconds here on Huhi. It would be a risky end, but they are posturing forward. They're for sure at least going to go for the inhib. The base was not stopped. I don't think they can end. So they are going to back it up. Respectful play here. They're low on health. Look at the damage from Danny, though. 4,700 in that skirmish. Vulcan was just applying passive to everybody, and they have to play so carefully around that. Doesn't mean they're going to be able to grab the dragon here as well. Let's watch this one more time. It was the Gnar TPing in very, very deep on the minimap here. You know, way back here, he's looking for this play. Danny, very smart with his flash, though, flashing back this way, knowing the Gnar is going to be coming in from this side. You know, not retreating into the Gnar, or he would have been going down in a hurry. And then watch Vulcan. Like, look at the passive. It's just on 3 players at a time here. He's just kind of walking around, autoing different people so that they're all threatened. FBI with 3 stacks of passive, you can't fight. He has to wait for it to expire. Ssumday, 3 stacks of passive, you can't fight either. He has to back it up. And that little play, from Vulcan is helping to threaten and create space in such an effective manner. Danny hitting a lot of his spells there, really pumping out the damage. Prowler's Claw now complete, so the mythic bonus from 4 completed items is a big spike. And EG are just skirmishing really, really effectively. Like, their fighting has been so good, and I just feel like I can't say enough about Vulcan. He's really, really impressed me on the Braum.
He does look really good. I find, 2 to 3 individual, small things every single fight. So in this case, Inspired predictively stopwatch the Gnar ulti. Because it's basically instant cast, right? Like, if he's on top of you, if you press start, you've been knocked back, you've been functionally stunned, and he stopwatched. It was the only person he even had a Gnar range. It wasn't like he flashed into 5 people. He's like, stop! It's like, oh, he's on me. Yeah, it's me. And was right, and then walked out with 200 HP. Like, very, very impressive play. Great hands here on Evil Geniuses. Looking to take care of business now.
FBI.
Yeah, a decent chunk of FBI. Not gonna fight this one very easily now. Is a 3-item Kai'Sa. Right, that is an Infinity Edge. If you can get to hit someone, it's just been so tough for him.
Yeah, it is really tough, and he has no resistances, so he's very relying on that Nautilus to kind of protect him with the Locket. They have no exhaust. If LeBlanc combos you, you're going to die, right? LeBlanc is very strong. If you're getting chunked up by the Ezreal, it's tough. They're going to look for Ssumday.
Mega Gnar jumps in on the 4, flash, pulls in everyone he can. FBI goes in, and they're going to shut down Danny. Mega Gnar trades his life, but will it be enough? A bunch of knockups come through for closer, but it might just not be enough. It's still just in the same spot as last time. Inspired, reset after reset, finding more and more to kill in the rubble of the top lane turret. He plays Kai'Sa better than FBI does. He does everything better than 100 Thieves as Inspired wipes off the map and takes it home. Nexus turrets fall, EG picking up where they left off, crushing every team in the LCS.
What a way to finish. What an incredible final fight there from Jojo and Inspired, taking over with the resets. Has turned in an incredible performance as EG out-skirmish, out-fight 100 Thieves. Celebrating the win, taking the extra time here to enjoy it all as closer can do nothing. I love that little S-Duke there again at the end. He's like, I got you earlier though.
Oh, impressive stuff. They pad a few seconds of the game time. Really beautifully done. And the fact that, hey, mid lane, super spicy.
Yeah.
We had a bit of an int under the tower at level 3, and he came back and was like, I'm still winning this lane. I'm still the better mid laner. 200 ton play with extreme confidence. Danny, finally at the end, gets picked off, a good engage, but just such a well-played game by Evil Geniuses. Our defending champions are taking names so far.
Absolutely. I mean, this was a close game for a lot of it, but it just felt like every single skirmish, EG was coming out a little bit ahead. They would get, extra kill, or they'd bring a less member and get an equal amount of kills. They'd take a tower somewhere else. They'd get, objective after it. They were always kind of eking out these slight advantages that just felt like it was always them pushing that little bit further ahead over and over and over. You've got to say, great engage from Ssumday though. They were way down when they actually took that fight, and it was won by the slimmest of margins from EG. That was the goal difference in action. If that went a little bit worse for them, if they get the ace there, maybe they buy some time, can really start to turn things around, because EG really stacked up exiting that base, and Ssumday saw his timing. They almost made it happen, but EG just a little bit too good in those skirmishes, and I've got to say, yeah, wallet dip for sure. And Vulcan was I just think Vulcan was incredible in that game.
He really was. He did a really, really good job.
He was just everywhere at the right timings. We were kind of pretty critical of the fact that they had no ability to engage, but it didn't look like they needed it because he was everywhere he needed to be at the right times, absorbing those engages, turning them around, finding key ultimates. Right. Of course, it was a full team effort, but I was really, really impressed by him that game.
They set up around Baron, or the Herald, and they go. They lost one around Dragon. You're going to take Dragon? Okay, we're going to be here, and you're going to fight us, and it worked out really well. So good job, EG. Now we are meeting up with the King of Spring, Vulcan, for the Ryzen post-game interview.
Thank you, Phreak. So happy to get to hear from Vulcan. This was the finals rematch. What were you indexing into that in terms of the emotion and the experience?
Well, the biggest thing was that last time we won against them in the finals, in the post-game conference, I trash talked closer a lot, and this was like his chance to clap back. If we lost, I feel like he would have gone kind of hard on me, and I'm glad I didn't give him a chance to. And I do kind of regret saying the things I said. It was like in the heat of the moment, right after the win, and I think it kind of sucks to trash talk right after a win. It should trash talk beforehand is better. So, yeah, I just know that it's coming. Whenever a closer wins a game against me, he's gonna talk about it. So I'm just waiting for it.
You've become such an expert trash talker that now you're micromanaging your own trash talk and leading the meta in that regard. As far as this game in particular and wanting to show up 100 Thieves, you're playing very well, player of the game, in fact. I wanted to get your thoughts on kind of the comp and the fact that there's not a lot of engage in some of these comps that puts a lot of pressure on you. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just an Ezreal comp where Ezreal's going to stand up, flex on them, and he's going to be like, what's your plan? What are you going to do about it? Because he's just there and with his E and flash up, and it's kind of on 100 Thieves to find a play. They have to be creative, and they tried when we had Baron, they tried the TP flank. That was a pretty good play, but unfortunately we were like too fed, or the fights didn't go their way, right? But I'm just playing Braum, trying to peel, trying to think about what plays they're going to go for. I'm the kind of player who plays a lot of engage, so I kind of know what teams are looking for. Like, I knew they were looking for a TP play. I didn't catch all their wards, unfortunately, but I knew it was coming. I was preparing my team for it, and yeah, just chilling.
You were for sure locking them down, whether you were chilling while doing it or not. I guess you're Braum, so that kind of makes sense. But as far as your role on this team, there was a lot of depth discussing that in the spring, being a leadership, being a veteran. Do you feel there has been any evolution in you or any of the players since summer as far as that dynamic between you all, or are you still one of the primary shot callers through and through?
No, I think we have a lot of shot callers. I think both are, like, all of us kind of contribute, and I think Impact, Inspired, and me have a lot of experience, and we're usually kind of leading the team when it's downtime, and like, are we going to go for bot side, top side, whatever, TPs, stuff like that. Like, what do you want to do when we get off a reset, right? So it's kind of like the game plan inside the game, and we're also leading reviews. A lot of the time we'll talk about what we think we should have done differently in scrims or on stage, and we kind of have like a wealth of experience, and we have at Abbedagge a really good mix of experience and any talent, you know, young any talent, as people love to say. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like the primary shot caller, but I'm helping my team.
Speaking of downtime off the Rift, something that EG did not have very much of coming into summer, can you tell me a bit about how the team is feeling in terms of recovering from MSI, coming into this week and picking up these victories?
Yeah, we tried our best to recover. It wasn't much time, like you said, unfortunately, and also Riot decided to drop a very big patch right before Summer Split, so I kind of had in mind that I would take some days off from League after coming back from Korea, but the first day after I came back, I instantly went into solo queue, because I didn't feel like going on stage with no idea how this durability thing works. So I didn't get much off time. We'll see how that goes throughout summer. I'm trying to pace myself, so trying to save some juice for when playoffs and Worlds come around. But so far, looking good. I'm glad to be 2-0 yet, so it's nice.
Definitely a way to start things off. Thank you for the interview, Vulcan.
Thank you.
More LCS to come, but if you don't have your fill of LCS content, remember the show Players is streaming now on Paramount Plus, the first 4 episodes. If you don't have Paramount Plus already, you can use the code PLAYERS to get a free month of it. Check it out.
11 teams, 11 dreams, with all eyes on the LCS trophy.
When most fans think about gaming, they think of one name, and that's cream cheese.
Hey, buddy.
In 2015, we started Team Fugitive together.
I've played in huge arenas, gotten a ton of girls. I bought a Porsche. We're going to the LCS.
Honestly, we'll probably win 7 championships.
He never met the expectations that he set for himself.
It's just a matter of time until Cream Cheese is no longer the face of the franchise, because fans are ready for the era of Organism.
Organism, hop up in the middle.
Into the middle?
He's gonna be the youngest pro player in North America.
I don't have that much time left. I've been here for 5 years. You've been here for 5 minutes. I can't play with him. I need to win a championship.
I call it the wheel.
I don't think so. This is a miss.
Brother David, behold! It's a fork!
I got 10 forks right here, baby! A toilet? We're not animals. We go outside like humans.
Hancock.
No king! The people shall have the right to vote.
Even the stupid ones? Edison, can I be honest with you? It stinks. Nobody's gone to the moon, ever. Why not? It's far. It's too far. It's far.
の未来はポータブルミュージックです。
バカか。出ていけ。語りがいいでもやるぞ。語り。
Like I was saying, it's FTX. It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I'm never wrong about this stuff. Never.